Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Comprehensive Committee Meeting number 2, Village Washingtonville. If we could all please stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Welcome again. Today we have our planner, John Bayham.
Close enough. It's
And,
more Irish than most, but yeah. You said it more Irishly than most, but yeah. Being.
Well, I have a Irish accent.
Oh,
Yeah. And Amy, one of the senior planners at the firm. So welcome.
Thank you.
Today we toured the village. We had Mr. Kazaza, also, and now I'm going to call you Britannica. The information that he shared with us was simply amazing. All yours, John.
Okay.
Welcome and thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So maybe we can just go around the table and introduce ourselves. John Bean Planning Design, so glad to be here and part of your
That's the
team.
Italian accent, yeah. That's the
Yeah.
Italian accent.
Buonasera. Amy?
Amy Fitzgerald, has been with BN about a year and a half, and happy to do some work with them.
Patrice Gessner, I've been in the village for about 4 years now.
Jim Casaza, and I brought my better half.
And I'm Dr. Sharon Pizzazz. I was the founder of Washingtonville Pediatrics, so I have, a lot of interest in the village, and I'm a village landowner.
Hi, I'm Andrea Hyman. I just moved here 2 months ago. I'm interested in working with the village to keep it a nice place to be.
I'm Virginia Washington, I've been here for about almost 2 years.
Tom Benko, resident, been here 35-ish years, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Nice, Tom.
Living.
Donna Giacaruso, retired teacher, resident 34 years, created a group, It Takes a Village, advocate for our beautiful village.
Hey, thanks, Donna.
Margaret Stack, resident for 16 years, 2 kids going through the school.
Julia Wiley. I have a company that specializes in DEC compliance issues.
George Lanzard, resident, 24 years and recently retired.
You sound a lilt in your voice. When you said that,
Hi, I'm Megan Tennerman. I'm the senior land use planner for Orange County. John and I have actually met before, but it's been many years.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Hey.
Hi, I'm filling in for my colleague Kate Schmidt this evening.
We've got an extra seat up here if you want to get closer to the action.
I'm good.
Selena Roper, realtor, resident, and lifelong really, Blooming Grove, and now in the village of Washington.
Nice.
Bob Bukowski, 36 years as a resident.
Larissa Sampson, 20-year resident and trustee.
Valerie Ladada, 19-year resident and village trustee.
Joe Bucko, 32-year resident, 33-year resident, mayor of the village.
I worked in the village since 1989. I moved here in 2001, so 23 years in the village. Former retired teacher, and now I'm a village trustee.
Alma Gonzalez, I own Mountainous Creations in Depot Street. I moved up here 4 years ago, but I'm also on the board for the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm the VFW auxiliary as well.
Nice.
Represent the Hope veterans as well.
Right?
You want to move up closer to the table?
Yeah.
We pull the table out and get more people.
You got spot in the middle here. Come on, you're one of those kids that's gonna stay in the back.
Put the test paper on the bottom. Right, the last one.
I don't know, I was one of those kids that was always brought to the front of the room, usually by day 2 or 3. I don't know why, maybe they like me.
That's what I was told, that they let me. I'm going.
Hey, you made it.
Hi, welcome.
How are you?
Good, good, good. So the folks who just came in, it's $20 each, right? We did introduce ourselves. I'm John Bean with Bean Planning Design.
Amy Fitzgerald, being planning.
You guys are,
I'm
just you, yep.
Jody Connolly,
Hey, Jody.
resident of the town and teacher.
Great, hi Jody.
Hi.
I am now supplementing my colleague Kate Schmidt.
Hi, Kate Trent with Orange County Planning Department.
Welcome. Orange County is well represented. Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you.
So I'll start it. I'll keep it going. So, as we said, we're so glad to be here and see so many smiling faces as we help work with you to put together a comprehensive plan for the village of Washingtonville. And as far as at least my goal, our company's goal tonight is, besides getting to know you all a little bit better, is to, we want to talk about the process for public outreach for putting the plan together. And with that, we want to talk about opportunities to take on perhaps a more specific role. You know, there's some different topics that you might, you know, be interested in, or you're not. We want somebody to, we want to try to divvy up the kind of the responsibility so folks can focus on an area, if you'd like. And then we also talk about a kind of a schedule that we're shooting for. Okay? And, is there, I don't know if there's anything else, that's maybe what you want to try to cover. Sound fun? All right, good. So, Amy, I'm gonna turn it over to you to kind of just maybe distribute these.
Did you say?
Yeah, she gave them to me. Yeah, I can take the rest of it. I have to make more copies. Everyone knows that there's a lot of work to do.
Okay,
So,
good. Yeah, sure. Yeah, fine, so. And we can share these too, and then we'll make sure you get copies. We'll email it to you if you want. There's a lot of words on here anyway, and we'll walk you through some of the words. Is there more?
teacher, yes.
Is there another, I want to just sign it. Is there another one version? Is that the second one or the first one?
May I ask where you teach? I teach in
New
New York. No, I didn't do that. Okay.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Oh, okay.
But the first one, that's the third one. The first one in the back. Need to sign it. Somebody sign it. Oh, is it the new one? Okay, good. Did you do that already? No, last page. Oh, the last page of the, okay. I've got it.
A question for Kate and Maggie. Were you guys, this your first meeting with this group? Were you here last time?
Kate was, I'm just
No?
here to listen.
Kate was not.
Okay.
No,
You've
we
attended
had a
the previous meeting,
delightful, I had my own personal touring meeting.
Yes.
So, thank you though.
Kate and,
I'm sorry I couldn't make it. I did listen in. It was very hard to hear to one other much smaller meeting. I'm not quite certain which one that was.
It could just been a village.
You were introducing, you were
Yeah, it was a
leading
village
it,
board meeting.
much
Oh,
more, okay,
oh,
board
okay.
meeting. Hard
Just-
to hear,
Oh,
but
okay.
I got some of the slides and that was good.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
good overview.
Oh. So I was just wondering if you all want to say a little self-promo about Orange County planning and the things that you all do. Do you want to give a little infomercial or anything? I know you all have been doing a lot of work. You're the Metropolitan Planning Organization, right? And so maybe just for a couple minutes, just tell folks, because folks may or may not know, you know, the county role in things like this. So,
Sure, we can do an elevator speech.
okay.
So Orange County Planning is responsible for overseeing planning activity in all 43 of our municipalities, and for determining the best outcome for the county as a whole. So we have been working lately on an extensive trail network throughout a lot of Orange County's municipalities, which covers a lot of the information, or a lot of the work that we've been doing with the Metropolitan Planning Organization. We work on transit in more populous county areas. We work on land use. I am actually the senior land use planner. I'm also the county demographer and the planning department housing and economic development specialist. We all wear a lot of hats. Kate is our sustainability coordinator. We work on issues of energy efficiency and conservation, as well as just reviewing development activity. We do housing studies, we do demographic profiles, we do economic work with various chambers of commerce.
We also have the Orange County Water Authority and Orange Transit. So the few buses you see around Orange County goes through our office. And the Water Authority, they don't own water and they have no authority is their tagline. But they're called the Water Authority.
But
That's for New York
someday-
State. Mhm. Someday, maybe. You've been around a while to say that. Uh-huh.
Neither did Saratoga County, and all of a sudden, we have a chip fab plant and a big water line coming down the Hudson River through the whole county, so boom shakalaka. Thank you. And the county, we've worked with and the county planning office for many years, and I would say it's one of the more creative, progressive, and get things done agency, and, you know, among the top in the state. You all do a lot of great stuff. You're at the county planning level. You know, you're not afraid to take on county planning leadership. So it's, you know, I think it's a great place to. I think it's a great place to work. Maybe it's not, but from the outside looking in, it looks good.
Well, thank you, and I wouldn't toot our horn. Years ago, we were the first climate smart community. We're also the first energized New York community. Environmentally speaking, we were quite progressive. We have, the rest of the world has caught up with us now, but,
Yeah.
you know, slow bits and starts. We'll get better.
We're not on the leading edge anymore maybe, but only because so much progress has been made. We are among the first class of LEED certification. I don't know if everybody's familiar with that. Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design through the U.S. Green Building Council. We are among the first class of cities and communities to be certified silver.
Great.
And to continue the Love Fest, we have worked with PM Planning for many, many years and have always been impressed. So, well done choosing your consultant.
Thank you. Well, with that, we'll adjourn the meeting.
I thought we were voting for it.
Voting for the. Okay. Well, we've got a lot, as Mayor Bookbrook said, we got a lot of work to do. So you want to start with the schedule, Amy?
Sure.
Okay.
So, the tasks on the schedule are from the proposal.
Can you speak up a little bit?
So the first task is just the community outreach task, so public engagement, the little star on there is for the community meetings, so we are at star number 1. January.
guys will probably meet more than that, and we can discuss that more in the outreach plan. Because we'll be sort of getting stuff ready to bring to you monthly. So you'll have time to look at it and give us feedback on it. And then just 1B there just shows the green bar. That's our planning topic exploration time and consensus building. That's also in the other handout, but it's about hopefully giving you guys maybe some group assignments on figuring out local experts to get us information on certain specific topics that are listed in the handout to help with the kind of profile part of it. And then just the public meetings, public hearings, we have that public open house / workshop, which is also, the details of it are in the handout. It'd be June, July time, May, June. I'll probably do that before the school year ends, before people are like going out on vacation for the summer. So that would just be like probably after the draft plan is mostly together to give informational sessions and some kind of workshop component where people can give us feedback on certain topics, or we can decide how we want to do that at what point in the game we want to get feedback. And board meetings, so July, August, and probably early September for the draft plan, and then a final plan. So then, just the work on the inventory and analysis, vision and goals. We have some from the previous start of the last plan. I don't know if you've looked at that when you started the comprehensive plan a couple years ago. There's some visions and goals in there. And you feel like you're stuck at that, or you want to revisit? So then that's good. And then the review of the community setting, it'll be a couple months of work. Land use, I think will take a few months, a bigger topic. So we're looking at March through the end of May or June. And then task 4, priorities and implementation, that's figuring out, okay, we have all this information, how are we gonna create a list of to-dos, where does this actually hit the road and give you some strategies on how to implement. It's not just a bunch of good ideas that don't do anything. And then we'll be working on writing the plan, and that would be June, July, into August. So we'll give you the draft plan early August, hopefully, and then figure out what kind of environmental review we'll have to do. So we'll do a draft of that, and then a little diagonal line is for the public or committee review period. And then final plan in the seeker, whatever environmental review we have to do. And then plan adoption is the last line. Just figuring out how we can support you and help you get it through the process.
Okay, at the last meeting, we handed out the comprehensive for 2021. I have to get you a copy, I can email it to you. Everyone got it, I don't know if you were here, so if you give Selena your email, I'll send it out to you also. Everyone else should have it, who's here. Yes.
When we did that, as I recall, we were so significant that we needed to follow up or support that.
Yeah.
We can't hear down at this end, we can't hear what's being said.
Yeah, no, he said because Bob was with us the last time, that there was some engineering questions that we had, it just stopped completely.
Okay.
So whatever we're waiting for, we're still waiting for.
Got it.
I'm sorry. So I'm just looking at this timing. It looks like this would be, if everything worked out, it would be till October. I know there was like a 6-month building moratorium. Would that mean that there would automatically, it would be extended? I know that you said that, whoever said, there'd be 2 extensions on it.
Yes.
So they wouldn't change that in the middle of us doing this?
No, what we would be looking for, I think the first 6 months, from October, gotta go back to October. April is the first 6 months. We would have to apply. Do we apply to the county for that, or do we go to the state directly? For the extension of?
The moratorium?
The moratorium.
You-
It's,
You do submit it to our office.
yes,
So
for
I'm,
review, but I also send
right.
it up for.
I mean, Department of State, you sent it to the first?
Yeah.
Okay, so then,
Yeah.
Yes, we
So it
did
just
see
rolls,
it.
I have to do what we have to do
Okay,
on our end, but it should just roll over,
okay.
okay? Now, we have,
and that's
2
usually up to
6
like
months
18
extension.
months, they're very flexible. I think the state would be, we are, I think the state would be too.
more than 18 months?
No, no more.
Right,
So
no more than
you
18.
get-
I was told that,
Right.
by the state,
That's right.
yes,
That's-
and I think by you also.
Yeah, probably.
You don't have to tell me more than twice, I'm good. So I think what you wanna do, what we discussed today about handing out assignments, breaking everything down, what we have. I mean, obviously, it's in everyone's best interest if we work really hard and get this thing buttoned up. There's still a lot of, after our planners are completed, the attorneys then get involved. All right, there's public hearings that have to be heard. So we just have to keep moving forward on this. So, we do have a website set up. It's our website. It has a section,
That's on the page.
okay,
No,
it's
no.
under Village Hall. Drop down, it's a comprehensive plan, our minutes were on it.
Yeah.
Thank you for providing them. And also the video was up, okay? Again, if you can't make the next meeting, it's up to you really to get back to see what was discussed. All right, because we wanna make sure that we just, like I said, keep moving forward on this. We don't wanna, hopefully there's no more pandemics that are gonna happen, because that really threw a wrench into everything. So you intend to come down to the village board every 2 meetings?
Yeah, every, like on a monthly basis, you know, that's kind of general,
Okay,
you know, but if there's a meeting where we're gonna have a special topic or a stakeholder meeting or visioning session, we'd be there for that too, it might be.
okay.
The thought is instead of this project, instead of just the consultant just giving you all a slug of things to read, right, which we will still do, is what we wanna do, and instead of like folks from the committee, you know, individually reaching out, say, to county planning office for information, we'll coordinate with you all to compile and have on the website documents, right, that people can use for reference. And this is really a proposal to you. You don't have, you know, what we were thinking is though that maybe you group up in, you know, clusters of, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. And within your group, take on, you know, for example, well, we can go through them during, you know, the community character. There's like 4, not really topics, but there's like, let's say we have 4 areas, and we've got community character is one, history, land use patterns. We've got another one, transportation, land use, current conditions, ideal state, housing, settlement patterns, affordability, and changing demographics, current and future needs, and then we have a larger other categories like environmental, stormwater management, open spaces, conservation, toward a comprehensive approach. So, and within those are gonna be sub-areas. You don't have to be expert in any of those, but what we really wanna do is have the committee members, to the extent you can, read up a little bit on that topic, and really help, I think, the committee lead a discussion about what you see being the specific concerns and opportunities in terms of the future of the village of Washingtonville. And then the committee as a group say, okay, well, what we talked about, let's say, for example, environmental resources, things like stormwater management and flood management and water quality and open spaces and trails and that topic. Say, okay, well, what do we think is important to us looking for the future? What are our, you've got these goals here. What do we want to put in this plan, at least in terms of a direction for the village? So, for example, the folks may know the county and the Open Space Institute have been working on converting the railroad corridor, right, into a shared use path, right? So with that in mind, what else does that mean for the village? How do you take advantage of that? So some discussion about that from you all. We know Moodna Creek and Otter Creek, there's flooding issues. Okay, so what we want is some direction that would help guide future actions of the village so I'll just take you through the whole process of what the plan would do, right? So ultimately the plan might say, we want our neighborhoods to be able to connect to that trail, that like superhighway of trails. Well, how do we get there? Even sidewalk, that might be an outcome, right? And that's great, because that provides direction for the village, the whole village to figure out. And the village itself, in the implementation strategy, would say, okay, what we would say is, here's what to do next, right? Here's some of the action, funding, planning, neighborhood discussions, whatever. So that's the idea, that's the big idea of what, and we'll work with you through the process so that as you go through these meetings, you'll have had a discussion. So if you have, like say, 2 or 3 meetings in a month, that topic, you'll beat up that topic as best you can, come up, and then the small group will take notes and you'll say, well, here's what we heard, here's what we think you said, and that'll come back to us. And one of those meetings, like the last one we'll be at, where you're trying to figure it out, and we'll listen and try to help synthesize that, and we'll move on. You can say, well, we didn't really get agreement on something, but we talked heavily about that topic. Next, we're gonna go to, let's say, transportation and connecting land uses and the future. And again, we're gonna look to the county for some help in terms of, well, you guys know a lot about transportation in the county, get some information for you all, and you can help look up information in terms of, the issues that you see. And as we go along, we'll also ask folks to participate. We might, you all, county planners might come in and say, okay, this is a session we're gonna invite you to this. See if you can meet one of these meetings and come in. Or conversely, give us a schedule, time that works for you and some other folks, and we'll try to get that group, or some people, to come to you. Whatever works to get the most participation possible. I don't think everybody's gonna be every one of these necessarily participating in every aspect of it. And so, as we go along through the process, I kind of lost my track there, but we want to get down to a big picture, kind of high-level view of what the village wants to do about land use, transportation issues in the village, for example, okay? And how that would translate, actually, ideally, into projects or policies. The project might be a village project for looking at, for example, you might want to say, well, one thing I noticed, you have a lot of beautiful streets, but they're really wide, okay? Some of the streets are wide, some are not. Do you need all that space in all the streets for pavement? Maybe, maybe not. So that might be something you talk about and say that's important or not important to us. Maybe it does become an opportunity to look at village streets and rethinking them a little bit. There may be streets that are there's not enough space, they're narrow and they're confined and they're not comfortable. So, and there may be a future about transportation. Well, how are we gonna get around the future? What is the future for the village in terms of connecting to the region? So, and you might say, well, we want to get on board a couple of ideas. Maybe it's better use of transit, maybe it's park and ride lots too. I don't know what those are, but those kind of things. So, when we're done with this whole project, this whole plan, you'll have what I like to think of as a strategic set of big picture ideas where you say, okay, the village, here's the things, and you'll easily be able to remember, there's these, this is what we want to do. Because you'll be able to talk to people and say, I think even the mayor will be able to remember these 5 things or 4 things, We're gonna do, we're gonna focus on our environmental, we're really focusing on water in the village. It's all about water. And we not be able to list every single project you talk about, but you'll be able to, we want everybody here to remember the big ideas, Maybe a big idea, you put all this stuff, you said, we want to really, with community, we really want to connect the youth to the senior people. We want to really connect across generations with activities. And, we already heard them. We heard some of those things you've already talked about in your prior sessions. So, that way, it'll be your plan, it'll be like written about what you want to see happen in the village. What we'll do is just help kind of synthesize it, pull it together, and help write it.
Figure out,
Yeah.
your grants, and that's the best way to go about the things you want to see. But we want the ideas, and it's a reason to give you some topics and give you some time to do research and figure out what you like and tell us, be able to get your ideas together and tell us what you'd like to see. We try to shape it and give you ways to do it.
Yeah.
One of the streets that was mentioned today, it's kind of wide, is Ahern, from Washington to Tolman. And I believe during the process of that design, there was going to be an island that went down the center of it. So that's the widest street, I think, in the village.
Yeah, seemed like it.
Things like that. Or what do we do? Our stormwater report was just updated, our
Okay.
stormwater, so I can forward that to you.
Mhm.
What do we do with our wastewater?
Yeah.
Okay, which was upgraded and expanded.
Mhm.
I've been talking with our engineers about making that a receiving station also, where we take in sewage from septic companies, which would probably, rough numbers, bring the village over $1 million a year. So really, that phone call would be great. There's no more sewer portion of your water bill. These guys are paying for it, okay? So it's really, there's so many moving parts to this whole plan. We touched upon some of them, like I said, prior to the world coming to a stop, which was kind of interesting in itself. But we need ideas from everyone in here, and everyone who's not here, the people that you talk to. What would you like to see? Last week, when we met, everyone had zoning on their mind. It's still on everyone's mind, and it's always going to be on everyone's mind, okay? And we'll probably agree to disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable, okay? We're all in here for the one reason of moving the village of Washingtonville forward in the best direction that we possibly can. So whatever information that you come up with, share it with us, please. Share it with everyone in here, so we know where we are and how do we take care of it. We're gonna get to that one spot, different roads. High roads, low roads, back roads, but we'll all wind up with the best plan for this village of Washingtonville. We spent a good 4 hours, 5 hours together. You gonna answer that?
You don't know who it is.
I think it was Jim calling you.
No.
Shut this guy up.
Mine's quiet.
We spent a large amount of time together.
Right.
Very appreciative. Thank you for that. And the last meeting, Kate, when you were here with Alan, pretty much the same tour. Pretty much everyone has the same ideas. Now we just have to share them with everyone about, the rail trail. Rail trail's gonna change the whole village. Okay, without a doubt. So I like what you're saying, that we have to find our way down there.
Well, if you agree,
It's,
you know.
well,
yeah,
right, if we agree, but it's definitely going to change the way people look at the village.
We just got closer to, they just got a $500,000 grant.
I'm sorry.
They just got closer because they got a $500,000 grant, so now I think they're $500,000 away from the first stage finances, if I would read it right.
Okay, you're gonna start in the village, right? Village of Washingtonville and work out.
That's to be determined.
That's the plan, right?
Is the schedule still sometime during 2023, or?
I think that we could not speak on the schedule. I think we would say design is hopeful for 2023 for certain. Thereafter is the next phase that you gotta tackle,
Okay.
depending on full support.
Not to sound ignorant, where is the rail trail going to go through in Washingtonville? Down by the, you would know.
It's, if you go down South Street past Fulton Square, directly behind Fulton Square.
Okay,
The line actually runs next to the high school. It
Okay.
crosses Route 208 where the bus garage is
okay,
and the town garage building. And then there's a couple of bridges. It crosses Route 208 and it runs behind Fulton Square and then exits the village all the way down by the Gateway Farm.
On
And
the
then
other
keeps
side of
going.
Buda. So of
To
course
the
it's-
trestle,
It's
basically.
like 5 times.
To the
Oh, I
trestle
was gonna,
bridge.
I thought five.
Five crosses.
That's a big
Railroad
project.
plans like straight lines.
That's just the
stream
village.
wanders.
I can never
Railroad
get those
straight.
sidings correct, even on my 4x8. Like, I'm not getting it.
So I have to work on that. It's so software for that.
You know, it's definitely going to change the way people look at the village, the way we look at it. Okay, the time that we spent together, Jim was part of the meeting today. This village had a lot of farms. Actually, we live in a house that was probably on one of those farms. A creamery or two. Two creameries. That's where the rail trail by the high school, Borden's,
That was
Borden's
Big Borden
Field, that's where
Creamery.
that name came from.
And where the veterinarian office is on 208, there was Farmers Cooperative Creamery building there.
You know, on the rail trail behind between Hennessy, Fulton Square and Deer World,
Yeah.
something like that, was a railroad station. We could reconstruct that, just a stick building. And we could put history of the village in there, visitor center. But we have to work out. You know, but zoning is on everyone's mind, we know that. So what we have, the task of the village board, which of course we're going to share, we have I brought this up last meeting, a code book from 1995, and then a code book from 2003, that all the numbers are different. The one from 2003, the village board at that time adopted that book, but did not go to public hearing. So we have a green book, a blue book, and hopefully we'll come up with a red book. And so we can move forward with our goal. So the village board is working on that, page by page, line by line, word by word. And public hearings, can be a lot of them. All right, we have to make sure that we dot our i's and cross our t's in this whole process. Right, dot the i's, cross the t's. So anyone want to share some of the thoughts that you've had from the last meeting to now?
Just a quick comment on the schedule itself. I think if it's not here, and I apologize on the last time, but you were talking about attorney reviews.
You're looking at the
Yes, the
bar graph. Okay,
bar graph.
It was prepared,
So I think,
it was prepared by them.
right, so at the end of the day, if it's issues where we're gonna need obviously the attorneys to review everything, I think that timeline should be entered into the overall project.
Okay, yeah.
So after the attorney review after for the seeker process and the final.
Well, I mean, I think the attorney's piece is really gonna be more about the language and possibly the zoning, because our code now, depending on what this group decides, but there's a lot of references of if it's not here, go to this zone. If it's not there, go to this, and what the special exceptions are, and et cetera, and those things can put you down a rabbit hole that you don't wanna go down. So I think we need to, in my opinion, need to get rid of that type of stuff. And what the zone is what the zone is. I don't have to go point me to someplace else that now I can be able to build, you know, an apartment building, for example.
Well, so this is just for the comprehensive plan.
I'm sorry?
This won't have any specific zoning in it?
Per se, right.
Probably, like, it's an overview of types of zoning changes you'd like to see usually?
Well,
Well, what happens with the language, the
wait a
current
minute,
language?
that's
that
what
we
we're
have in
wondering.
our-
Let's,
What are we doing?
please raise a hand as we get the floor, yes.
Yeah, I have a question here, and I think you bring up a very good point about the role of the attorney, but I think his role has to be defined, because an attorney review, if it's not carefully managed, can bog down everything. So, you know, maybe there's some type of a definition of what and when is it appropriate to have attorney review. That's a big lift. So he or she is not there to micromanage pronouns, but I think there would be, you know, bellwether moments, but I would hate to see everything slowed down because the attorney didn't get to a comment. So I think we need to define what is the attorney gonna do? And also, I think, just as we're all taxpayers, I'm very cognizant of the cost of this project. It's probably gonna cost $250,000, and if not more. So, I'd hate to see the clocks run unless they're going to manifest a real benefit, and we keep a control on that.
Yeah, so I think fortunately, our company, we've worked with the village's attorney before, and typically in a comprehensive plan, the attorney's role is really at the end, right? And it's really just to help, not the committee so much, not even the consultant so much, but the village board just get through the process of the review and adoption. That's really where it's at. And so, so I think the way to think about at least this project, if you would, is the right now, all of us are tasked with just preparing a comprehensive plan for the village, right? By saying just, we're not gonna write zoning in a comprehensive plan. We're gonna make, I would say, typically we'll make big picture recommendations about zoning topics, okay? And things in the zoning or things we'd like to see. For example, we're just finishing up, well, let's see, we just finished a draft comprehensive plan for another village, and the committee finished it. It's into the village board now for their board to review and adopt it. And they're, so those kind of zoning recommendations you'll make provide direction to the village board for a future activity to make changes to the zoning. That's not gonna be done in the comprehensive plan, just so everybody's clear. The comprehensive plan is like a conceptual blueprint for the land use and zoning for the village, but like, it's like a conceptual plan for a building. It's not the details of how the building is built, which is in the zoning, okay? That would come later. But you might have a big idea, like this part of the village, we think the land use that is X right now, we want it to transition to X plus 3 or something different, okay? Or we don't want to see a lot of change, or whatever that is, okay? You may have something, so I think, just so you can compare it, like for example, this committee would say, so like let's say the central business district, downtown area, we're concerned about having enough parking, okay? But also we're concerned about not having so much parking that we lose character of the village, right? And so you'll provide some direction for the village board to say, with the help of the other stakeholders there, say, okay, what are we gonna say about parking in the village downtown? And provide some direction. I'm not gonna get to the depth of what you'll say, but you'll say that. So the village board say, okay, what we heard, the comprehensive plan says, and to what extent is that a code issue, right? That's part of it. To what extent is that a kind of a construction project, build some parking issue, how does that resolve itself? So that's the level of zoning that a comprehensive plan will get into, same with any other aspect, housing, that type of thing.
Ultimately with a high-level suggestion.
The high-level
plan.
suggestion, and it'll have a land use, like for example, we worked in for the town of Walker, we wrote the comprehensive plan, like our firm did, we helped write the zoning. The comprehensive plan said X, Y, Z, we created the idea of a town center district there, okay, was an idea, and we put a bubble on there, and we talked about uses. We didn't write all the code, but that came later. Probably now it's been rewritten again, since we did it, I was telling the mayor, we worked on the village of Rhinebeck's code many years ago. We threw out the whole old code and put a whole new code in, which was very detailed, based on their comprehensive plan that somebody else wrote, So, that's, I think the point, your point is that just, what's the right target? We want to head in a certain direction. Yeah.
Do you have like a sample or baseline comprehensive plan that some of us can look at? Some of us
sure.
are really new at this and really, if we sort of laid out or detailed, we might get a better feel.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think actually we can do that. I know there's lots of plans in county, there's plans all through Orange County, absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
that shows you something that's about the
Yeah.
size of our village and.
And I think what'll help too is having just done this with another committee that was very hands-on, we can show you some of their really basic stuff that they did. We'll show you some of their notes, and you can see the kind of discussions they